From the Code 3 studio, I am Scott Orr. This is a special video edition of the Code 3 podcast, and I will not let Parkinson stop me. We are doing something a little different this time. We're helping out our friends up the road at the LA City Fire Department. They are running a campaign selling LAFD Strong t-shirts to raise money for equipment they need. Assistant Chief Wade White, who oversees the supply and maintenance divisions of LAFD, talked with Rhonda Orr and Cynthia Jump about what equipment the department is looking to buy. Here's their interview.
I'm Rhonda Orr with Code 3 podcast, and I have my friend here,
Cynthia Jump.
We're so excited to be here because we have Chief White with us. Good to have you here.
It's nice to be here. Nice to see you.
Chief, we were watching TV and we saw that firefighters in our area fighting our fires by our homes didn't have the best of the best to work through these fires. And so Cindy and I said,
let's do something.
We've got to do something. So we decided to get Scott Orr from Code 3 podcast and have an opportunity to come speak to you about that and have a way to increase the funds so that we can have the top of the line equipment. So how are you doing as far as equipment is concerned?
We're doing very well. We've over the last couple of years, we've purchased a lot of new equipment. Of course, we're funded through the budget, the standard budget process. But to take it from a PPE standpoint and a technology standpoint to a different level, relying on the donors, and they're helping us out quite a bit. Purchase new equipment.
Well, that's wonderful because I see here you have the top of the line gloves. Can you tell me what the difference is between these different types of gloves?
So what we've done is gone to a 3-glove system. Right now we're in a 1-glove system, and my hands are different than yours. So what we want to do is provide the firefighter with a glove from a dexterity standpoint that feels good to them because they're touching buttons and on radios and equipment that requires that dexterity. Well, these might feel good for you, but these over here probably feel better for me.
Of course.
So going to the 3-glove system is going to be very, very beneficial for us.
Well, that makes sense. I wouldn't wear the same shoes as a perfect example. Even in the same size.
Right.
Correct?
Right, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I've seen as what most firefighters are using right now aren't any of these. Is that correct?
They're using gloves that are similar to this. Like I said, what we've done is we've run these through an evaluation, and we've checked to see what those firefighters, the tenured firefighters that go into an actual training situation, a burn container, at an incident, which gloves they preferred. And they chose these gloves right here.
Oh, okay, perfect. What I'm saying is when we saw on the news that there were some gloves that were just torn apart that they were using. Is that something that we can raise funds for?
Well, not so much that they probably did their job. The gloves, I'm not sure of the situation that you saw, but typically with a glove there's 3 layers, and when they're exposed to a significant amount of heat or any kind of situation that required them to do their job, the outer layer a lot of times will burn away, and it's the thermal layer that's on the inside that protects your hand. So these gloves provide that protection.
Okay.
And I'm sure they got well used also with going from fire to fire to fire, which I think we had to do.
That's correct.
This last season.
That's correct.
Yes.
Had Bobcat fire come very close.
Well, these are structure gloves. So we also have a glove that's for the wildland, which is a little lighter in construction. These are structure gloves. They're thicker. There's air entrained within the construction of the glove to give you that protection from the heat. So.
And did I hear you also say it lets out the heat?
Yes, you've got thermal protection that keeps the heat from going in.
Okay.
That's the construction of the glove, the fabric, the combination of the different fabrics in this glove, and then that same combination with the liner on the inside lets the heat out.
Tell us about these. What do they do? I know they're also the top of the line.
Right.
Okay. And we need more of these, correct?
These are wildland tools, and these tools are used in the vegetation environment. We will take this fire engine out and to fight a brush fire. We'll use hose lines, and we'll also use these tools. This is a Pulaski here. This one here is called a McLeod, and they're all designed to do different jobs on an incident, on a fire. We put a firefighter on the Pulaski who would typically go in front with somebody that's on a chainsaw, and we'll talk about that next. And then you've got the McLeod, and then you've got what's called a rhino, along with a shovel that will basically clean up the end, make sure that we have good clearance between the area that burned and the vegetation that's still intact.
So that's the big gun. And how many more would you say that you need?
We've outfitted a third of the department with this state-of-the-art tool, and we're looking at doing the rest of them. So roughly 30 stations have been done already.
Okay, so we need 2/3 more, correct?
Right.
To be at the top of the line. You mentioned Cadillac.
That's right. And we have about 76 more stations we want to outfit with these tools.
How many per station? Do you know
This
that?
apparatus right here will have a complement of these three right here.
Okay, per
Yeah, along with the shovel.
truck.
I don't have the shovel here, but that complement will be on each engine. There's 106 of these engines.
Got it.
And then we have 42 light forces. That's a chainsaw, and our roof team will take that chainsaw to the roof. It's a coordinated attack between the firefighters that are on the engine who take hose lines interior, and then the apparatus operator and his ventilation team go to the roof and they cut a hole. The apparatus operator talks to the engine company, says, "I'm cutting the hole," and then they can go in and attack the fire. It's a coordinated situation. That saw right there, that wildland saw, has a longer blade on it, and it's able to cut larger trees. Now with the larger trees, we need a system of wedges so we can guide that tree where we want it to go. So we'll have somebody that's certified to cut a tree, because that's a very dangerous operation. And then they'll use those wedges and they'll guide that tree, and they can put it right down on a Coke can. Yeah, that's how surgical it is. Yeah.
Okay. And tell me about the Seek Thermal. This is so interesting to me.
So about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, we went through an evaluation for thermal imaging. This device right here is carried on the coat of every firefighter. It's covered every position. We used to have one per company. Now it's one for every firefighter. And the firefighter is able to go into an environment that's smoky and dark and able to see, I'd be able to see you in there. I can put my hand in front of my face and not see you, but with this I can see the heat signature. And then also doors and windows and hose lines.
Well, that makes a night and day difference on what you do as far as the procedure you're going to take right after that, correct?
Oh, yes. And the biggest thing is be able to go into a structure and find an individual that might be down. Those that we're protecting. So this device does that.
And the drones that are needed, they are something that I don't know that everyone understands how important they are and why.
The drones, we're looking at several tier system as far as drone capability. The actively tethered drone system will be one that the incident commander is able to pull up on scene with, push a button, and this device with a camera, thermal imaging also, will be able to broadcast an image to the incident commander's TV screen at the back of the command panel, and I'll be able to get situational awareness 360 degrees of where the firefighters are. So it's going to be a good addition to our command team to be able to see firefighters that are on the roof doing their ventilation operation, to be able to see firefighters on a hillside at night. It's priceless for me as the incident commander.
How many drones do we have now?
We have 6 drones, and they're your standard drone, which is operated by a licensed operator. And we'll bring those in on a wildland event or major structure fire. But what we're looking at with this photo kite system is to be able to put that up within minutes. And then we'll bring the drone operators in later on in a complex incident.
Ideally, how many would you like to see we have?
If we can get one for every command team, that would be great. And we have 14 battalion command teams and 2 assistant chief command teams. So 16 total. We're going to start with 2.
Well, we're so excited that we could help your foundation, LAFD, and we can ask everyone to please contribute because it might be your house.
Absolutely.
And so we really want this effort. Cindy and I are producers for Code 3 Podcast, and Scott Orr with the podcast, and especially we are thankful for you, Chief Wade White, to help us this day.
Thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
If you live in Southern California, you really ought to support this campaign. Los Angeles Fire Department spends a lot of time and resources fighting wildland urban interface fires and does a lot of mutual aid with surrounding communities. So this is not just about paying for stuff that will help Los Angeles. It's about paying for equipment that will help the greater community. You can find all the information you need at the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation's website, supportlafd.org. All right, that's it. That's all for this special edition of Code 3. I hope you'll join me on the regular podcast Thursdays. Until then, I'm Scott Orr. Stay safe.